I felt it would be interesting to take these really ridiculous portraits and allow the viewer to interact with the piece.
I like the fact that you brought us into the bathroom and we all got to do our own graffiti.
The great thing about this piece is what you reveal about the viewer in this, and it becomes part of the piece.
Thank you.
It would be interesting for you to write some on there yourself. Some real.
When did you decide to incorporate the defacing and the interactive quality?
When I was speaking with Simone, he felt that the images weren't really shocking at all, and then I thought, well, what would be shocking? And that's when I kind of came up with the idea.
Eric, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I said put the jar out and let everybody else write if you can't think of what to write.
It was something I'd already been thinking of doing.
Of course.
Oh, she was smart to listen to you then.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Jacqueline. Let's move on. Theo, could you please explain what we're looking at?
I was trying to get to this place of building almost like an animal would build.
But why were you rubbing yourself?
I wasn't rubbing myself, I was rubbing this.
Is it supposed to be excrement?
It wasn't supposed to be excrement, but I think in the end it did read as excrement.
See, you don't really know what this piece is. We don't know what the piece is, and it comes off, therefore, as incredibly familiar, kind of adolescent mixed with shock your grandmother performance art.
For me, this is one of the more interesting pieces because it's disturbing. It made me think of homeless people, the people we don't want to look at, and especially when we were speaking about your work in front of you like you didn't exist, that also is uncomfortable.
Thank you, Neo. Let's move on.
My piece is titled IED. So many of our cities are so disenfranchised, stricken by poverty. Family structures are destroyed, and thusly kids grow up as these improvised explosive devices. So I have these 3 black male portraits, and I'm depicting them as bombs.
They have a kind of, if not shock, at least magnetic power.
There's a quieter shock to this. It wasn't one after it's already exploded. It's the threat of imminent violence that's connected to the piece.
It just has lots of different layers to it, and the more that I hear about it, the more I'm enjoying it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. You have given us plenty to discuss. You can head up to the studio until I call you back.
When they said that jar of markers and allowing people to write on your work of art is what made your piece, without it, you fail. Where did you get that idea?
So because you simply suggested it, because you shout out all the time without anybody
Just
ever
trying to
asking.
help.
No, seriously.
If you consider what I do shouting out without people asking, don't ever look me in the eye and ask again.
I don't,
because
but
that is what you did.
It's something that I'd already been
So my
thinking
point is
about.
it doesn't matter who
mean
thought
that
of
just
it.
because you
It matters
say
that
it.
if I'm shouting things out that you don't want to hear, don't ask me for advice.
Oh my God.
Okay, guys, I think we have a very big decision tonight. We are sending 2 artists home.
I was surprised how many people defaulted to sex as subject matter.
I wasn't shocked at all, but then again, I'm not surprised because it's not easy to shock, especially on demand.
Let's talk about some of the successes tonight.
Abdi's was one of the more successful pieces, I thought, because it pulled you in a kind of weird, mysterious way.
The formal qualities of his heads, his kind of ritualistic candle art, really pushed it through.
Yeah.
Abdi's piece was very impressive. I liked it a lot.
How do we feel about Jacqueline?
She's just coming out as an artist, and she's just finding her voice.
It's pretty amazing, if you think about it, that this woman allowed everyone to touch her with those pens and express anything they want.
Even if it was somebody else's idea, she took that idea and incorporated that into her piece. That is putting it out there.
Okay, let's talk about who disappointed us tonight. Let's move on to Eric's piece.
Listening to him, he has a lot of social complaints, yet he's not able to put it in his work.
I appreciated Eric's interpretation of the work because I didn't see a lot of things. The piece failed for me because I didn't get it initially. It had to be explained to me.
What did we think about Neo's performance art?
It was the weirdest thing I saw here tonight.
She's a performance artist. This is her trade. And she couldn't come up with an explanation for this work?
I'm afraid that in Jamie's case, it could be her Last Supper. I feel like to tackle a religious theme, you should have a little more punch to it. I tried to get lost in the characters. I couldn't.
Maybe she needs to be pushed more and to be warned that there's not going to be a next time.
Okay, let's talk about John's piece, The Recluse.
If only he had photographed himself attempting the position.
And why would that have worked?
It'd be so much weirder. It would shock me.
In this case, he just went jokey with something that could have been interesting.
Okay, I think we've made our decision. Jacqueline, Abdi, we wanted you to shock us, and you did. But one of you captured our attention and kept us thinking about your piece after we stepped away. Congratulations. Abdi.
Thank you so much.
You made a true work of art.
Thank you. I really wanted to create something that was shocking on a deeper level, and it means so much to win this.
So, Abdi, that means that you have immunity for the next challenge.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both. You can head up to the studio, and please send your colleagues down.
Thank you, Shine.
Thanks again.
He won.
Congratulations.
Such a good job. Congrats, Abdi. That's awesome.
Yo, thanks a lot, man.
Wish me luck.
The art world is fickle. The only rule in art is what works, and none of your pieces did.
John, you gave us comic relief. You didn't go deep, and you didn't shock anyone.
Neo, you are a performance artist, but tonight you acted out a scatological mess.
Jamie, you took on The Last Supper and gave us Apostles Gone Wild, but not wild enough.
Eric, you chose a taboo subject matter, but it didn't translate in the piece at all. John, Jamie, Neo, Eric, two of you are leaving us tonight. Jamie, you are safe. You can head up to the studio.
Thank you.
Eric, you are safe. That means John, Neo, your works of art didn't work for us. It's time for you to go.
Winning a challenge and then completely losing a challenge is a little extreme. It's really hard to understand.
You can all head up to the studio. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Failure is completely okay in the process of making art. We have to really push beyond our own boundaries and be able to fail.
Yo, John.
So miss you. You were just starting to get into my weirdness. I often make work that is very fragile and very difficult. I don't know that the kind of work I make has been valued in a fine art gallery situation.
I feel like I was trying to please Andre Serrano and not myself in this challenge. And that's where I made the misstep.
Next on Work of Art.
Are you narcissistic by any chance?
I'm a tortured rock star.
That's the danger.
Oh my God, what have I done?
If Nicole ever made a move on me, the universe might implode.
They look like a really cute couple. A match made in Urban Outfitters heaven.
To learn more about Work of Art, The Next Great Artist, visit BravoTV.com.
Matches, pretty matches.